We just concluded a meeting with leaders of law enforcement, both federal and state and local judiciary community, in which we discussed ways we can work together to address what I believe is the most important, immediate, and pressing challenge as we all face violence in our communities and the streets. It's the second and ongoing series of meetings we will have that are based on my deep belief with strong policing, greater resident involvement, strong gun laws, and better coordination at the local, state, and federal levels, we can turn back the tide of violence. Like most Chicagoans, we're all fed up with it. As a city, we must stand up to the gangbangers and drug dealers who are a small but violent part of society. But as reasonable people understand, making Chicago safer, it doesn't have one answer. It has many, many. We must continue to use every available tool at the local, state, and federal levels to address the challenges head-on. For some months, we have been working even more closely than before with local, state, and federal law enforcement officials to better use the unique tools, including RICO laws, to gang and drug kingpins where it hurts, basically in their pocketbooks. For example, since the summer, we've been carrying out Operation Return to Owner, a joint effort by the Chicago Police Department, several federal, state, local agencies, law enforcement, and state's attorney's office. This is the first type of initiative aimed at reducing violence, making the streets safer in police districts that have experienced high levels of crime. The results have been very encouraging. Just Monday, we announced that the last weekend operation under this program resulted in 155 arrests, 14 parolees returned to prison for violating the terms of their parole, and 12 guns seized. Since July, the operation has resulted in 677 arrests, 89 parolees returned to prison. The goal of a meeting like today is to come up with more collaborations like Return to Owner and to make sure we have a coordinated, united front in the fight against violence. These partnerships are even more important in these tough economic times when we face tighter budgets and fewer resources. Today, we agreed that the first critical issue work on is illegal gun trafficking. Illegal gun trafficking. A few weeks ago, the federal government reported that illegally trafficked guns directly contribute to tens of thousands of gun murders that occur each year in the United States. This is no surprise to law enforcement, which is well aware that illegal gun trafficking, both interstate and intrastate, is a growing problem in Chicago, throughout Illinois, and across the nation. More and more guns recovered at crime scenes are often linked to illegal gun trafficking. And in one of the highest profile examples of illegal gun trafficking, we recently discovered that one of the guns used in the June shooting, death of Chicago police officer Thomas Wortham, was traced back to an individual who was identified as a gun trafficker in the Inglewood neighborhood community in Chicago. The guns he trafficked were obtained from straw purchasers and gun show purchases in Mississippi. In fact, the Chicago Police Department estimates that almost half of the legal guns it recovers from our streets each year come from outside of Illinois. Today, the group agreed that more aggressive, more coordinated strategies across various levels of government is needed to address the ongoing challenge of illegal gun trafficking. The police department will be looking at enhancing the Chicago Anti-Gun Enforcement Unit to more proactively pursue illegal gun cases on our own, as well as partnership with the Federal Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. In addition, the State's Attorney's Office and U.S. Attorney's Office have offered training and personnel to support the initiative, which we believe will lead to a greater number of successful gun and gun trafficking prosecution. All parties are working together to move this initiative forward. Violence is a very complex challenge. That's why we continue to work on many fronts and many ways to make our streets much safer. We'll involve more people in CAP's program in our neighborhood marches. We'll continue to challenge more people to come forward to end the code of silence in any community. To protect our children, we will fund after-school programs, provide school security, do our best to keep them safe as they go to and from school. We will continue to implement our neighborhood stabilization program to acquire vacant and foreclosed residential properties so they can be returned to productive use and no longer blight communities or serve as magnets for crime, which many of them do. We continue to challenge parents to accept their responsibility, enforce the city's curfew in their homes. We must keep our kids out of harm's way, and parents have the ultimate responsibility. The fight to protect Chicago streets, and especially our children, must continue. Chicago belongs to all the upstanding residents and not the criminals. Thank you very much.